In today's video, we're going to learn how to make this Bubu dress. If that is what you want to learn how to make for yourself, then keep watching this video to the very end and let's head straightly to the tutorial. I'm going ahead now to fold my fabric into two so I can cut out the patterned part, the part of the dress that has the African print. We are going to be using pattern because of that combination. I can't eyeball it. I don't know which is which, so I have to use pattern so I make sure I'm right. First thing I'm going to do to my pattern now is to cut out a V-neck shape. I went on my shoulder inwards by ½ inch and downwards you can choose whatever depth you want for your V-neck shape. And then I went ahead to connect them together using my scissors, and I'm going to be cutting this out. Please ignore the noise at my background. Some fixings are going up at the roof of a building close to mine. So please, I just have to film this video now. Please ignore the sound. Then I went ahead to place this onto this part like so. I found out that I folded my fabric wrongly and I don't want to misuse it. I still want to have some fabric left for another design that I might want to create with another dress. So I had to refold it. Then I went ahead to place my fabric. Now you're going to be marking ½ inch from your center front, from the folded pattern onto this point. Then place your pattern from that ½ inch and do the same thing at the lower part of it. Okay, just make sure they align. Do the same thing at the lower part of it. So having done that, I'm going to be using the ruler to rule a straight line from this point, from the midpoint of my shoulder all the way down. I didn't actually take any measurement for this. You can decide to take a measurement. I did not take any measurement for it. I just have to rule it all the way down. Now the next thing we're going to do is, considering the length of this bubu, it is not floor length, it's kind of 3/4 or thereabout. The length I used for mine is 55 inches. I am very tall. It's 55 inches. So just to know whatever length you will do so your shoes can show, right? I used 55 inches of length, so I extended the line to that 55 inches point. So having done that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to start cutting out on that line that I marked from the pattern, including the fabric. At this point, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be notified whenever I post lovely tutorials like this. Also check on the channel for other lovely sewing tutorials that you would actually love. Then we're going ahead to cut this out like so. And at this point, I'm separating the patterns now. This is what we have for our center front. So I'll just open it up so you guys can see. This is what it looks like. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut the sides. You want to bear in mind that just cut one part of the side. We have yellow and black. You can decide to cut whichever part, then use that part to cut the other one, right? So I'm working with the black fabric, which I'm going to be using to cut the yellow. You want to place this side onto the black fabric like so. Now, just like the way you do your bubu, we're going to be ruling a straight line from the shoulder all the way down. I found out that I do not have a chalk. I'm going to be using my pen. You might not see the markings, but please listen attentively so you hear what I'm saying. So you're going to be marking that line all the way down like so. The length of that line is 18 inches. That is the length I used. I want my bubu sleeve to be like 3/4. So it's 18 inches for the length of the line. Now heading over to the width, I used 24 inches. You can use 20 or 24. I actually want it to be very bogus, so I used 24 inches. Now we're just going to be connecting those points together like so. The next thing we are going to do now is to kind of join it like a kimono, you know. But before I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is get the size of my bubu. We're going to be determining the size of the bubu from the sides. Now, I know that bubu is free-sized, but I don't want mine to be so bogus that it's going to look like I'm hanging inside the dress because I'm very slim. So I'm starting from my hip, which is going to determine. I added 4.5 inches to my hip. You can decide to add more to yours, but I added 4.5 inches to my hip. Now, Onto the waist, I also added the same 4.5 inches, meaning it's going to be having some kind of curves, right? I know this might sound strange, but it's not going to be obvious when you put on the dress. I just had to do it that way. There's no harm in trying out new things, right? Then I want the lower part of it not to have same size with the upper part of it, like pencil it a little. So I reduced that 4.5 inches to 3 inches for the lower part of it. That is for the hem, from the knee to the hem, to wherever the length is going to stop. So I reduced it to 3 inches. Then having done that, that was all the markings I made. Then I went ahead to start joining them together. Like I said, please listen attentively. You might not really see it because I'm using a pen. I found out that I ran out of chalk, and you know the season we are in, so many shops are no longer open. So I couldn't get chalk. I searched actually and I couldn't get. So from my explanations, I went ahead to join those points together. So I'm connecting that kimono part to like the underbust part. Let's see, 13 inches from the shoulder. That was where I connected it to. So I connected it and then I went ahead to start cutting out according to the lines that I marked. According to those points I told you to join together, I went ahead to start cutting it out according to those points. Like I said, it's going to be having a curve, but do not worry. It's not going to show since it's straight. I just had to try it out this way, then having it, straight to see what it's going to look like. And it wasn't bad. So this is what this part is looking like. We're going to use it to cut the yellow part for the front. I'm just going to be trimming out this part. I just need like about half an inch to join it to the African print. That is why I'm trimming out the excess. So I've placed my yellow fabric on the floor and then I went ahead to place the black on top of it. This is what it's looking like. And then I'll go ahead to cut it out exactly the way the black fabric is. So that is it for the front. Heading over to the back, I've folded my remaining pattern fabric into two. So I placed my back pattern on it like so. And then also I'm going to be measuring the length, and I added subsequently how many inches that is missing from the pattern to the fabric. I went ahead to extend it with my ruler. Then I'll go ahead and start cutting out the patterned part of the back fabric. I'll go ahead and start cutting it out. So this is what it looks like for the back. And then same thing we did to the front, we'll go ahead to cut the side of it. Okay, now this is a yellow fabric. Just in case you didn't get what I did for the front, Please, you want to pay attention to the back. It's almost same procedure, just different pattern. It's same procedure, just different pattern. Now with your long ruler, you're going to be extending this line from the shoulder all the way down. On that line, you're going to be marking the length of your sleeve. I used 18 inches. From that point, you're going to mark in the width of your sleeve. I used 12 inches. You can use 10. I want my sleeve to be very bogus. Now I'm checking the length of my dress. I added the missing number of inches to the fabric. And then on my hip, I added about, I think 4.5 inches also. And for the knee part, I reduced it. I minused 1 inch, making it 3.5, or you can use 3 inches. I don't want it to have the same bigness or fullness as the upper part of it. So I added 4.5 inches also to the waist and also to the bust, chest line or bust part of it for the back. I went ahead to use my ruler to join all those lines together. Now I'm going to be connecting my kimono sleeve to about 11 inches or 12 inches from my shoulder. Connected it like so, up until the point where that line meets. Then I'm going ahead now to cut it out. You want to pay close attention to the cutting. We're going ahead now to cut it out. You cut up until that point where you joined your sleeve to. Can you see that? See where I joined my sleeve to. Can you see what it looks like? So we're going to be using this to cut the back part of the back, of course. So for the sewing part of it, you want to join these pieces together. This is my front, of course. You want to join these pieces together. Same thing we're going to be doing for the back. After joining this, I'll go ahead to join that of the back. So I've joined them together and I joined them also from the shoulder. Now for that design at the front, you want to take the round measurement of your front. Now half of it, half of the round measurement of your front. Not your center back and center front. Take the round measurement of the neckline of front and back, just half of it. So I haven't taken that measurement, half of it. I added about 2 inches for allowance or 3 inches for my allowance. Now I'm going to be cutting that out. Whatever it gives me, I'm going to be cutting it out on this black fabric. I'm supposed to fold this fabric on a bias, but this is all I have left. And if I fold it on a bias, it will not be enough for what I want to use it for. But please fold yours on a bias. It helps it to relax well. So I had to cut it out. Now for the width, you're going to be using 1 inch, then plus half inch allowance for sewing. So you should have 1.5 inches for the width. When I had to cut this out, we're also going to be cutting this out onto the yellow because we need yellow and black for it. Then I'll go ahead to attach it like so. So I've attached it and this is what it looks like. The next thing we are going to do is to close up the bubu. I did not put in the pocket part. I was actually in haste. I didn't show the pocket part. So we're just going to be closing up the bubu dress. All right. You want to turn it over to the back, turn it around to the back and close it up from the back. Please do not close up this side. No, you're just stitching the whole of this part only, all the way to where your slit is going to stop. And at the end, this is what we have. Thanks for watching. Bye.